The Appalachian region, which covers southwestern North Carolina, is such a rich and diverse area. And the mountains that bring the beauty to this area also have created geographic isolation.
Currently in southwestern North Carolina, I feel like the biggest economic development challenge that we have is available sites and buildings. For ever so long, North Carolina has been very successful in recruiting and expanding companies. However, that has led to the lack of buildings and available sites.
So sometimes we're doing things on a shoestring budget, or we don't have a lot of margin for error or for things to go sideways. And when you're doing something like restoring an old building, for example, something that's been out of use for 50 years, there's a lot of unknowns.
When we look at our region, we can list a lot of issues that we're working on, whether broadband, housing, workforce. The opioid issue is a big one out here right now, but ultimately the problem is we don't have enough people working on those issues.
So by bringing NCGrowth into the region and taking projects that are very close to being ready and ripe for implementation and development, and applying the resources that NCGrowth brings, it's getting those projects to the point where they are fundable, they're investable, they're ready to go.
NCGrowth represents an amazing connector between the private sector and government. And so I feel like being able to tap the resources of graduate students, giving folks access to really building skills and also seeing what kinds of innovative projects are available and happening out here in the Southwest.
Economic development is always local. I work on a regional level. I've worked for a statewide organization. And by and large, every business that I work with makes a decision to locate in a community because they love that place that they're in. And that love can come from many different areas. It either comes from the fact they find good workforce, they find a great place to be, or hopefully both. So NCGrowth just again supports that local decision maker in their ability to make a good, sound business decision for creating jobs and investment.
One project that we've worked on that we're pretty excited about is in Robbinsville, which is one of the most isolated counties in North Carolina. The old general store there was called the Snyder Building, and it's set empty now for probably 15 years. It's the centerpiece of downtown. So NCGrowth has been working on kind of a feasibility study and a business plan for that building.
Every small town, you generally see, the historic signs, this historic such and such and everything, and that's great. Historic plays a part, it plays a role, and it's a great thing to have, but not everybody's going to be interested in that. Not everybody wants to just go through another historic building, another historic town. And so having the Green Energy Park serves multiple purposes, and it just kind of meets on different aspects, and setting up studios with equipment that can run off of the landfill gas so that they can run at over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and burn the gas and break it down to make it less of an environmental hazard and have less of an impact on the environment. And that was initially the goal. And that's what we've been working on doing since this project was started.
In a lot of ways, it's wonderful that we'll never be able to fully develop this area because of the mountains, and the natural resources are what make it so special. We still have a lot of work to do and room to grow in the areas that are developable.
Being able to work on a regional level and work with different jurisdictions, different counties, different towns, and the variety of people that we have in the region, it's really rewarding. My vision for Western North Carolina is where we don't overdevelop in a quest to increase prosperity to the point where we don't retain the things that we actually love about this place.